Coming to the green flag here for round 21 of the 2022 FBRL Hardee Series season. Cody Llamas on pole position alongside Nick Breeding, Malik Nevins, Eric Demax following in behind. Green flag here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Nick Breeding on the outside gets a good launch on the top side against Cody Llamas. Llamas making one of his limited and final starts of the season for CM Racing. And he is having an issue here trying to pass the 54 here, Breeding on the outside lane. Coming off for turn number 4, Demax in the 4 goes way up to the high side there. Cody Llamas going to lead the first lap here, but is still not cleared the 54. Llamas looking to try and see if he can slide up here to clear. He does. The one does take the lead officially there, and now he's got Malik Nevins on his tail. We have a massive gaggle here for second place as Matthew Rodriguez in the 17. Malik Nevins and Nick Breeding went 3 wide there for a moment. You can see everyone stuck together here. The draft pretty strong, and the middle and the top both usable. Has got this field pretty stuck together at the moment. Rodriguez in the 17 on the bottom, trying to get that bottom lane moving. You can see he's sliding up. He is really got a little loose there off of turn 2. Trying to make that bottom work, and it's sort of working, but not all the way there. Middle and top is going to be the preferred lane tonight from what we believe. But the bottom should be somewhat usable to pass, but how often drivers are going to use that is unclear. Diego Yepes, your current points leader, in a 4-wide situation with Ryan Butcher, Halleck, and Patrick Smith. Yepes in the 77. This team has not been very happy with their cars since qualifying, and they are now in the mid-pack here, and passing is going to be very tricky here. So Yepes, who is trying to hold on to his points lead, extended the points lead this past week at Decatur. After a nice climb to the field, climbing from outside the top 10 into the top 5. But Yepes here, you can see he's having some issues here, just trying to clear the 74 and the 04. And now they got Doug Locker in front of him here. Battle for a lead here. Nick Breeding and Cody Llamas going at it once more. Oh boy, almost got a little contact there off the corner. Llamas on the outside trying to fight back against the 54. Nick Breeding, he has been very strong on the intermediates this year, and he is showing why. Trying to pass Cody Llamas, who is a sort of a Sony Cup Series championship contender this season. And making a nice impression in front of his team. I mean, if you look at the rest of the top 5 here, it's a pretty Cup-heavy field. You have Llamas in the 1, Demax in the 4, Matthew Rodriguez in the 17. Evans is a truck driver, but with a lot of Sony Cup experience. That's going to be one of the interesting things of the day, is going to be all these one-off Cup drivers. How is that going to change the dynamic of the championship here? Obviously, Breeding is not really too stressed about it in the lead at the moment, but drivers like Yepes, Eves, back there in the 3 car, they're going to have to try and compete with these Sony Cup drivers. And this could be a massive points day if a driver like Nick Breeding can finish in front of a handful of Cup drivers and get some extra points in between them and the rest of the championship contenders here, especially with Yepes still struggling outside the top 15. Should be very interesting here. Nick Breeding just cannot get away from these guys, and look at this. Cody Llamas on the outside lane is going to make a pass in the 54 of Breeding. And woo, contact off the corner there. Llamas and Breeding with some minor but scrappy contact off of turn 4. That could have been bad if that was slightly more intimate. But Llamas does retake the lead from Breeding. Breeding was out in front for a little while here, but not sure if he may have made a slight mistake there, or Llamas just found a groove and made it work. Breeding, though, still on the bottom. He's trying to fight back against the one here. No one can seem to pull away from each other. The strong draft in the even lanes has kind of prevented anyone from pulling away up to this point. Bobo Jones over here in the 9 car with the 41 of Kyle Collins. They are struggling to get to the field here as Bobo Jones goes up into the wall, scrapes it, and keeps his foot in it, and doesn't really lose a place. That was close. That was running the top as high as you can go, and Jones got away with one there. But I'm sure he's not too thrilled about being stuck here, battling just to stay inside the top 25. And Kyle Collins coming off a dominating victory at Decatur. He is really struggling for pace here. Intermediates has kind of been the big struggle point for this 41 team this year. And they're going to have to hope that they can make some good adjustments on the next, on this upcoming cycle of pit stops here. Speaking of cycles, cycling through rides, as Bobo and Bishop sort of make contact there. Here's Jeff James in the 11, who was originally scheduled to drive the 96 for this weekend earlier in the year, but due to the changes that Justice Wrigley Racing has made, James was moved into the 11 car, while Malik Nevins was put into the 96 instead. Things have sort of calmed down here at the front finally after 20 or so laps. Llamas has established the lead, Breeding in second place, Shade Eves in the 3. In third place, Corey Williams fourth. A lot of guys in the championship fight here, trying to get some good points here. You can see Yepes still struggling in the pack here, trying to get into the top 10. And you have to sense that Breeding, Eves, and Corey Williams are all sensing a massive opportunity here. Especially if this goes green the whole way. Breeding and Llamas just can't seem to stay off each other either. Llamas and Breeding have just stuck together for this whole run so far. And now they've got Shade Eves in the 3 coming up here. Eves, who is Llamas' teammate for tonight. He's now trying to get himself in the mix here as Williams in the 14 tries to squeeze above the 54 here. And you can see the top is coming in really nicely here as the tires wear. So it seems to be that as this run goes on, the top may get faster and faster. You can see Breeding is really struggling to keep up the pace in the middle lane as he's starting to drop some spots here. Green flag pit stops are commencing. Shade Eves is going to be the first to come to pit lane in the 3 car. So Eves, running, who was in third place at this time, he is going to come down and pit. There's roughly about 1.5 to 2 seconds of fall off, so Eves is going to try to undercut here to get some track position here in the 3 car. Following lap here, Cody Llamas and a good majority of the top 20 also come in as well, but many cars also decide to stay out. Jordan Fisher, one of them. Jordan Fisher and the rest of the top 10 come into pit lane, but Dylan Young and RJ Bishop, they're going to make the choice to stay out in an extra lap as well. So it looks like the 64 and the 71, they're going to go for a big old tire gamble here. They're going to hope that they're going to have some really strong late run speed with this strategy here, but they are going to lose some time doing this as well. Here's how the field's going to cycle through here. Shade Eves, remember, he was the first one to pit. He was basically all by himself here, and I think he's going to get the lead. There's Llamas, the effective leader. And Eves, he is going to make the pass on the 1, so Shade Eves is going to theoretically take the effective lead, as you have to imagine that this undercut's going to put in front of the 64 and the 71. So an interesting decision by the 3 team. You can already see that the pit stops have already separated the field very handedly here, as here's the rest of the field finishing their stops here. Fisher was the first in his group. He's going to get beat by Tyler Black, who now comes out in front of a bunch of cars. But Eves, he is going to get the lead officially here in the 3 car. We're being told that the one of Cody Llamas is being called to pit lane here. We don't believe there's a penalty for the 1 team, so we're waiting word on why they're coming in. They just pitted 4 laps ago. But this is going to really hurt Llamas here. This is going to put him a lap down. We're still awaiting word from the problem. Apparently the 1 team's reporting that a fuel problem. They did not get enough fuel in the car to make it through a run, so they're going to have to re-put in fuel. Apparently it was an issue with a fuel can. So they're going to fill up the car with a different can, but this is going to effectively hurt Llamas, and that is going to... He's going to need some major help to get back in this, and that is going to be really disheartening for the hometown driver. This will put him a lap down and off sequence here. We've seen some bad luck out of this 1 team this year outside of that win at Talladega, and unfortunately they just got bit again. So now Shade Eves is your leader, and the dynamic of this race just changed a bit. Llamas was one of the most dominating cars of that opening run, and now that he's basically out of the picture, it's basically a battle between regulars right now. Eves with a 2.2 second lead over Nick Breeding, but remember, Eves pitted first, so he's going to have older tires compared to everyone else. Nick Breeding, who pitted roughly the lap after, he's in 2nd place here. Corey Williams in 3rd. Tyler Black in 4th place, and Kev Shear in 5th. Jordan Fisher in 6th place there. His teammate Luke Martin behind there. Diego Yepes, who we saw, he was struggling to get into the top 15. It seems that this pit cycle has got the 77 team back in contention here in the top 10. But now he's got a pair of Fisher Motorsports cars to deal with here, and Brandon Crasta in the 8. Here was back at the pit cycle here. Kyle Collins, who is in the bottom half of the field struggling. He's going to have even more problems here as he had some issues on pit lane, getting the car refired, and then gets a nice love tap from Dylan Young in the 64 just that insult to injury. So Collins in the 41. This is going to hurt this team a lot. They were already struggling. This is not going to help make it better. That struggle on pit lane has put the 41 of Kyle Collins in 38th right now. And he has got one heck of a mountain to climb here. He's going to have to pass a lot of cars to really make up this gap. And he's going to have to basically hope for a caution. It has been caution-free so far tonight. Now, I'm pretty confident Collins can catch drivers like Jeff Bolton, Nick Pericles, Tim Fiegel, and Julius Caesar, but it's going to be a very long night for this 41 team. We talked about how Cup drivers can change a dynamic of a race. Well, here is one example of that. Here's Ryan Griffin in the 30, driving for Crossroads Racing. And he is currently holding off a pair of Joseph Sirigley cars of Dejan Weeks and Jeff James and Dylan Young. 2 Sirigley cars and a Spartan car. Now, we've seen Ryan Griffin pull off some good stuff in quote-unquote lesser equipment. Got a top 10 for SB Motorsports earlier in the season. And he has shown why he is very good at basically any car you put him in. He is holding off 3 very fast drivers and 3 very fast cars tonight. And you have to imagine Crossroads Racing is very thrilled about this right now. Ryan Griffin is not the only Cup driver they got in this car tonight. They've got Alex Beniaco in the 31 as well. A former Hardee's National Series champion in the 31, making what could be his final Hardee start tonight. Currently running in 29, trying to hold off Patrick Smith and Sean Angel, another two of decently fast cars. Typically fast cars, I should say. So Crossroads Racing, it's not exactly the strongest run in the world, but they are doing a really great, I can't speak tonight, they got a really strong run going tonight so far. Shade Eves getting caught by the 54 breeding the 14 of Corey Williams and the 84 of Tyler Black here. I think those tires on the 3 are starting to go away here as we are roughly halfway into the run. Now, what also may be helping his draft here, Breeding is getting pushed along by the 14 of Corey Williams and the 84 of Tyler Black here. Meanwhile, Eves was kind of running by himself for a little while. But at this point, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference here because now they're all in the draft. Breeding in the 54. He goes way up towards the wall. He's going to go try to get a master run off of turn 4. Almost hits the wall. But you can see the big run he gets off of it. Will Breeding dive below the 3 to make a pass, or will he be patient here? Breeding does not force the issue here, but Eves has got to be feeling the pressure here. 3 very fast cars are hounding him here. Now, if Eves just continues to run the top, he may have a good shot to defend this, but those tires are going to hurt. And you can see the difference here. Breeding all the way down below the 3. Trying to make the pass here. Corey goes down with the 54 to give him a draft. Eves trying to fight back on the outside here. Breeding, though, I think is a little bit faster. And he has got help here. Williams and Black are pushing the 54 on the back straightaway. Eves got to be feeling a little lonely here. But Breeding is going to come up and clear the 3. Nick Breeding takes the lead in the 54. Back in 5th place, we got a pack battle again. The field has suddenly repackaged itself, and now it's Kev Shear trying to lead this pack of cars. They are trying to run down that top 4. Now, what's interesting here is RJ Bishop. RJ Bishop was one of the last cars to pit, so he's already made up a good amount of time on the freshest tires in the field. So this 71, he's got some really good speed, and he's going to be really fast for the rest of this run. He may actually have a shot to catch those top 4 if he can just get past Shear and Martin. But they've got him boxed in. Martin and Shear basically not giving Bishop any room at all to maneuver here. Eric Demax in the 4, currently running in 27th here, battling with Bobo Jones for 26. Eric Demax was running in the top 5 earlier here, but this 4 car has been struggling ever since the pit cycle. And you can see here, he is struggling to get past the 9. Something may have gone wrong in the handling of that 4 car, which is not the first time we've seen that this season. This 4 car has had good opening run pace, but has struggled as races have gone on. We've seen this happen back at Las Vegas way earlier in the season, so got to be very disheartening for the Curse Racing team right now to have 2 of their cars running outside the top 25. Noah Hardee and Gallon Downey, you can see them. They were battling really hard for 15th there. As Hard, who has had a bit of a glass can season so far. It's been a good week one week and then a bad week the next. And they're trying to get a top 10 here at Homestead. Meanwhile, Gallon Downey, who for a couple months was arguably the hottest driver in Hardee's, he's kind of cooled down the last couple of weeks as they were trying to make a championship bid here. But they're going to need a bit of a better run for them to really make a run at the title here, especially with them sitting outside the top 15. As we're coming up on the final stop of the night here, Diego Yepes in the 77 was in the top 10, but this pack has slowly weeded him out. And he is now found outside the top 10 again, so... The 77 team, I think they got a really good short run car, but the long run may be an issue here. But you have to imagine the 77 team's got to be really frustrated right now. They know that they are losing some points here to the 54 and the 3 and the 14. Nick Breeding coming up in the lap car of Aiden Shepard in the 86 car. He is now being hounded by Tyler Black, who got past Eves and Corey Williams here. I didn't even notice Black for a minute there, as Black now up to the inside of the 54. Tyler Black in this 84 car, they've really picked it up the last couple of months here. Almost won at Nazareth, possibly should have won Nazareth if it wasn't for a very strong pit strategy called by the 22 team. But now Black is trying to make a run at the lead here. He would love to get the lead at the end of this run. Side by side for the lead. Breeding is trying to hold on. He cannot get past Aiden Shepard, who's holding up the top. And RJ Bishop behind. You can see behind him, he's got the freshest tires in the field. And he's trying to make him work there as Black dives beneath the inside. He makes the pass on the 54. Breeding could not get past the 86, and that cost him there. Breeding now trying to fight back on the outside line here, but Black's going to get beneath the 86. The 84 is ripping the middle bottom really well compared to what we've seen so far tonight. I think they've got that car handled up really well for that part of the corner, and it's paying off so far. Breeding is struggling. His car is very good on the top. And you can see how much he does not want to leave it, but he may have no choice here. Oh, problems for Ryan Reed in the 24 for Texan Motorsports. Reed has blown up from 29th. Now I think Reed should be able to get to pit lane here, but you have to imagine the rest of the field who may be getting ready to get their final stops done. They may be waiting here to see if Reed gets to pit lane. He gets below the apron. I think he should be fine, but that is terminal. You can see the dark smoke. And coming fresh off the big news this week of Texas Motorsports going to Mercedes. And Ford, well, I think they gave them a little goodbye present there, but Reed's day is done, and that is going to be disheartening for this team. But it's been a tough year for Texas Motorsports, and I think they're just ready for this year to be over. Tyler Black and RJ Bishop go 1-2 after a strong, long run. But now the final stops have begun. Corey Williams, Nick Breeding, and Shade Eves, who led the majority of this run, they are going to come to pit road together. And they're going to battle on equal tires here. So this is going to be very interesting between these three. But they're also undercutting here. Luke Martin's going to lead the next group into pit lane here. He's going to bring Krasta and Nevins with him. So we're going to have a bunch of different strategies here. A lot of different guys coming out on different laps. Tyler Black is going to surrender the lead to come to pit lane. RJ Bishop is going to stay out an extra lap here as Black and Rain almost got together there. That's going to cost Black some time. But he brings in Bishop Jr., Fisher, Dodd, Noah Hard with him. RJ Bishop now comes to pit lane, and he's bringing in the rest of the field with him. Ryan Butcher, Shear, Yepes, they're all going to go for the tire strategy here of having the freshest tires possible. I think some of the field saw what RJ Bishop did. He cut through that field with those fresh tires, and they're going to try it again here. However, they're going to have less time. They had roughly over 30 laps to pass to the lead, but they're going to have a little bit less than that this time. Here comes Nick Breeding. He has passed everybody here. It's him, Eves, and Williams, the top three, the first three to pit. They're going to go past RJ Bishop to take the effective lead. With less than 30 laps to go, coming up on 25, Breeding finds himself in the driver's seat here. Shade Eves running in second place. Corey Williams in third. Bradley Bishop Jr. in fourth place. What a good stop for the 45 team. They've got themselves out into the top 5. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Luke Martin in the 22. "25 laps to go here at Homestead, and Nick Breeding is your leader, and Shade Eves is trying to run him down in the 3 car. Williams back there in third, licking his chops, hoping these two start to battle here. You can see through the corner here, Shade Eves gets a massive run through turns 4, and he really powered through. That was a really strong corner for Eves. That 3 car is hooked up all of a sudden. You have to think Breeding may be trying to take it maybe slightly easy here, but Eves, he is not taking it easy. He is hungry for that win that has been eluding him all season long, all year long even. This 3 team, as you can argue, should have won many times this year, and they are not going to let this one get away. Problems on pit road have plagued them, but tonight they've been actually really consistent. No mistakes so far. The only mistake has been from the one side of the camp. And you can see Eves, that 3 car is turning really well here. He is way better than Breeding in the corner, especially on the exit there. Coming up on Nick Pericles in the 90. Could be an opportunity for Eves here if he can find a way through. Look at Eves, he's trying to power through on the top, but Breeding comes up to cover. I think Breeding may have sensed that he may need to start pushing the car a little bit here. I'll tell you what though, the man to watch could possibly be RJ Bishop in this 71 car. We saw him cut through that field on those fresh tires. They're going for the same strategy here. As this run goes on, those tires will pick up more and more. And if you can believe it, this 71 team, they've been on a roll the past month or so as rain comes up into the 84, of Tyler Black. And yeah, that's not how you be a lapped car. Rain making one of her very limited starts this season. And not endearing herself to Tyler Black very well there. And not endearing herself to RJ Bishop as well either. Back at the lead still. Breeding and Eves have gone past Pericles. And you can see Eves, he is just so much better on corner exit than 54. And that's going to really be a mess for Breeding to contend with here. With 20 laps to go. I think Eves has got a better car right now than this 54. And you can see it here. He's trying to now make a pass in the bottom lane. Or the middle lane. It's been constant. It's been honest. The middle lane's been the bottom lane tonight, in all honesty. But Eves now trying to make a pass here. He is all over that 54. But Breeding on the outside lane gets good runs, and he holds him there. Eves, though, you can see he is sticking with that 54. Breeding is holding on for dear life here. But he's running a very nice, tight, consistent defensive lane. And he is not letting Eves get even a sniff of the top lane. Still side by side for the lead here. Breeding is trying to hold this 3 off. Eves is going to have to do this the really hard way. And that's go to the bottom there. And I think he might do it. Eves powers through in the middle lane. He's going to come up to clear the 54. Breen did not get a good run off exit that time, and Eves has taken the lead here. Coming up on 15 laps to go. Behind them, Bradley Bishop Jr. has taken third place from Corey Williams, and he's going to box the 14 in with the 90. And I'll tell you what though, this 45 has been running some of the fastest laps in the top 10. He is catching the 54 and the 3, who are still battling for the lead here. Breen is not going to give this up. He is going to fight this 3 for everything he's worth. But we've just seen how strong that 3 is on the corner there. Here comes Breen. He gets to the corner peel of the 3. He's going to try to make a repass on the 3. Side by side here, and Bradley Bishop Jr. has got to be ecstatic right now at this battle playing out in front of him. Breen trying to do the same move that Eves did to him. You got to give him credit. Breen just is not going to let this go. He's going to fight to the death to get this win. He knows what this can mean for the title here. Diego Yepes, it's outside the top 10. A massive points haul is in store for these two, as long as they don't do something ridiculous here. But here comes Bradley Bishop Jr. in the 45, taking advantage of the situation here. If that 3 car looked hooked up, that 45 is strapped in. He is all over this 54. Breen now in a weird position here. He has to defend the 45 while trying to be on the offensive against the 3. Bishop goes to the outside lane. He forces his way next to the 54 of Breen. Nice move by Bradley Bishop Jr. And he's going to fly by the 54. Bishop Jr. to second place here. And look at the run he gets on Eves down the back straightaway. This 45 has come alive. During the first run, this car was outside the top 20 at times, and now he's in second place, and he's going to the top. Bishop books the same move he did on Eves that he did on Breen. And now for the lead here. Eves has got to be shell-shocked. He cannot believe what this 45's doing here. Bishop Jr. riding the top. To the lead, the 45 for AFRT has all of a sudden taken the lead, coming up on 10 to go. Breen and Eves, they have got to be shocked right now. I think they thought it was going to be between those two. But no, Bishop Jr., with a nice drive through the field, is now in the lead with 11 laps to go. What a huge turn of events here tonight. And he is quick here. He may be the fastest car in the top 10 right now. He may be even faster than RJ Bishop. Look who has joined the party. Luke Martin in the 22 now is sticking his nose in the fight here. Martin goes to the outside lane. He's going to get past the 14 for 4th place here. He's been running identical laps to the 45 Bradley Bishop Jr. here. Luke Martin looking for win number 4 on the year. But he's going to have to cut his way through these guys really quickly. Martin, he's going to have to run the top here. He dives to the top lane, goes up towards the wall, and he's going to make the pass for 3rd, I think. Martin gets a massive run off of turn 4 with less than 10 to go. I'll tell you what, Martin, Bishop Jr. on that top lane, they found something really good. And it's going to get them a really strong points finish tonight. And it could land either of them a win here. Eves comes up to block the 22. We've seen these two go at it several times this year. But look at the hauling that Luke Martin's doing. And look who he's brought with him. Doug Locker on the 35. Who is a lap down, by the way. He's also found something, I think. He is going to pass these guys. It's not for position, but this has got to be a really nice feeling for Lockrow and Gallon Down Incorporated. They found something just as Martin and Bishop Jr. did. And Martin now passes for 2nd place here. The 3, the 54, and the 14 were leading for most of tonight, and now they may not even get a podium spot at this rate, depending on how these tires shape out. But Martin, though, now on the charge here on the 45. Can he get to Bishop Jr. in time? Mook Martin pitted 1 lap before Bradley Bishop Jr. did, though. So he's got slightly older tires. Here's a gaggle to get inside the top 10. Chris Dodd has taken 9th place here. Malik Nevins is now in 10th. Kev Shear, Jeff James, Jordan Fisher all trying to get top 10s here. Jeff James in 11 was kind of struggling earlier in the night. They've seemed to fix most of the issues they had with that 11. But Kev Shear, who we saw running in the top 5 earlier tonight, he is now trying to make up the time lost here. Five to go here. It is a stalemate between Bishop Jr. and Luke Martin. Martin is trying to find a way to that 45. And he's sort of catching him here, but that 45, I just don't know if Martin's going to be able to make a pass here in time. We saw how long it took for Eves to get past Breeding. Speaking of those two, man, they have really started to lose time to those two. I think pitting early may have been a mistake, but I mean, either way, this is going to be a really good points haul for these two, but a win would have been massively important for that points haul that they could have gotten, but I'm sure at this point they'll take it. Two laps to go here. Bradley Bishop Jr. in the 45. He is pulling away from the 22 of Luke Martin all of a sudden. I think Martin may have burned everything he had. And Bradley Bishop Jr. in this 45 car. I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a driver who has been in the mix for a lot of races for a lot of wins in races this season. It has been Bradley Bishop Jr. as he takes the white flag here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Bishop Jr. has been in the mix for a lot of wins this year, but has just not been able to close the deal. But tonight, they hit the perfect strategy, they got the perfect car, and he's 2 corners away from his first win of the year. We won't see him in the Hardee Napa Series very much next season, but tonight, coming off the final corner, in perhaps a late bid for the title hunt, Bradley Bishop Jr. wins here at Homestead Miami Speedway for AFRT as they score the team's 3rd win of the year. What a masterful performance by Bradley Bishop Jr. here to close off tonight's race. And he got a very, very important win here. Luke Martin comes across in 2nd place. Another top 5 for the 22 team. They've been on fire this past month. Breeding finishes 3rd. Eves 4th. Tyler Black manages to snipe 5th from Corey Williams, who finishes 6th place. Krasta 7th. R.D. Bishop 8th. Was not able to get much use out of those tires. Kev Shear finishes in 9th place. And Malik Nevins in the 96 for Joseph Wrigley Racing rounds out the top 10.